Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going through the match preview for AC Milan this Thursday night. A game which, going into after the back of the Old Firm game, I'm not filled with too much confidence for, but we've got a lot to follow up on considering our run in Europe last season. So it's going to make for an entertaining encounter. AC Milan are on top form though. We'll cover it all in this preview right after the intro. Right then, Celtic taking on AC Milan at Celtic Park this Thursday night. A game which is, let's just cut right into it. Let's get into what we're going to talk about. There's no point in beating around the bush. We were woeful on Saturday afternoon. Rangers taking us to task, and it was a real wake-up call for us heading forward this season. Look, the priority for Celtic fans this year, or to the vast majority of Celtic fans at least, has always been the 10 in a row mark. That is what we want to do. A lot of people not really concerned how we do in Europe this season. I would still love us, can I just make it clear right now, I would love us to go forward in Europe. I'd love us to progress on everything we've built on over the past 2 years. I think that's 3 seasons in a row now. We've headed to the last 32 of the tournament, which is a fantastic record for us, and I'd love us to go beyond that, especially considering the disappointment of last year when Copenhagen papped us out the tournament. I would love us to move on past that. I'd love us to get to the last 16, but at the same time, of course, the whole expectation of this year is to get it done in the league and to secure the 10 in a row prize that we've been looking for 10 years now. That has been the cry. Here we go, 10 in a row. And judging by the performance on Saturday, we're a long way away from that if we're going to continue to play like this. So, we seen what was wrong. There was no urgency around the team. We had no attacking intent. I think that David nailed it spot on in the podcast yesterday in saying, the identity around Celtic moving forward, going up the park, isn't there. You don't know exactly what they're trying to accomplish, and that was very evident on Saturday. And you can say what you like with saying, Edouard was out, Beaton was out, El Ahmed was out, Christie was out. That's 4 first team players that we were left without on Saturday afternoon, but the reality of it all is that was a team that was more than capable of beating Rangers, especially at our own stadium. Yes, there's no fans. Once again, there was no way, there is no excuses that we can beat around the bush with and saying that we were not far off the mark on Saturday. It was woeful, and we really need to up our game here in Europe, and last season we done that multiple times. But defensively, they looked shambolic. The 2 goals that we conceded, yes, I'll give props to Rangers, nice way to create the goals, but the defence should be handling that every day. Going forward, we didn't have a shot on target. We fell under the pressure that Rangers put on us. We never matched the intensity they gave us. And these are all aspects of the game that I'm sure AC Milan will likely try to take advantage of and surely dominate us in if they take the opportunities. Look, I've said it time and time again, all these European teams have to do is do their homework. And they've done it well so far with the teams we've came against this season. Ferencváros, Riga, every last one of them who have made it hard for us in Europe this year in the qualifiers have done their homework. They've looked at what we have struggled with in domestic football and they have countered that when we've played them. They've made it difficult for us. They have pressed us. Defensively, they've set up in a way that suffocates Celtic from playing attacking football. And all of that came into play on Saturday as well. Rangers suffocated us from playing attacking football. And yes, we didn't play 2 recognised strikers, but it's far from an excuse the way that we played. And AC Milan, let me tell you right now, will be far better than what Rangers were at doing that on Thursday night. I don't want to go into the game very pessimistic. As you know, if you've been watching the channel for the last 4 years or whatever I've been doing YouTube now, I have always been optimistic in my previews and predictions with Celtic and where we're heading both domestically and on a European stage. I've actually, probably took a lot more slack than what normally a fan would for being maybe too optimistic as a Celtic fan. So I want to remain optimistic going into this game. I want to remain, with a positive attitude towards every game we play. But the signs of Saturday heading into what is now a very tough run doesn't give a good indication of where we are at the minute. And I think Neil Lennon and the team, I don't think there's anybody solely to blame just now. I think there's everybody involved in the process are in a bit of a head mush. I think that everything's all over the place. I don't think we can gather a sort of system together. Everybody's got to step up and take an equal share of the blame. I mean, it may be Lennon more than others, but we need to find that identity out in the park, and we need to ultimately be much better than what we were on Saturday afternoon. Which brings me on to the second point in the video before we move on to the opposition. Last year in Europe, we were absolutely fantastic, and still in my opinion, to this moment in time, we were handed a tougher group last year. Now, of course, AC Milan have started their league campaign unbelievable. 4 wins out of 4, they're top of the Serie A. Lille are top of the French Ligue 1 as well, and they're also in our group. You know, this isn't an easy group as well, but last year I think was certainly tougher. I think Lazio were in a far better place than what AC Milan were heading into this season. I think Lazio last year were, you know, quite rightly up at the top of the table for a large portion of the season, while AC Milan keep that up heading over the course of 38 games or however many they play. We had Rennes, who were off the back of winning the cup in France. They were the domestic champions over there in terms of cup competitions, and then we had Cluj, who were just off the back of knocking us out the Champions League. This year, yes, we've been handed just as much a tough group, but look, if we match the intensity we brought to those games, and I think if we match the ambition within every player on the park, and Neil Lennon's ambition too, there's no reason why we can't make it through this group again. Ultimately, it's about finding a system which, you know, will allow us to do that again. And is it switching back to the 4-2-3-1? I think a lot of people after Saturday have fell out of favour of the 3-5-2, and one major talking point that came up on Twitter, and it was going about everywhere, and I'm inclined to agree with it in a sense. A lot of people saying that yes, this 3-5-2 system is fantastic for domestic football when you're playing everybody below us in the league. If you're taking everybody but Rangers and playing the 3-5-2 against them, it's great because it allows us to create more opportunities. We're playing lesser oppositions. They are weaker, and it's not out of a lack of respect way of saying it. They are weaker opposition. I think the 3-5-2 is suited for playing those. But now that we've seen it against Rangers in action, and knowing the success that we had with the 4-2-3-1 last year in Europe by topping that group, which was solid, is it time that we perhaps maybe switch back to that system? Look, we were great last year, and people can say what they want about 2 late goals and beating Lazio, but that was the sort of attitude that was installed in the team. Play to a final whistle, make it hard, never take your foot off the gas, and ultimately it's how we topped that group. We played brilliantly home and away, and it was some of the most memorable European games I think we've ever seen as Celtic fans, especially over the past kind of 10-20 years. And we can replicate that. It's about getting the system to suit it. But AC Milan, let's move on to them. Previously mentioned, top of the table, 4 wins out of 4 recently, or should I say their most recent game, defeating their crosstown rivals. They play in the bloody same stadium, but beating Inter Milan 2-1 in the Serie A. They're on fire at the minute. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a man who has never slowed down in his career, it seems. People can say what they want about his arrogance. People can say what they want about him heading over to America for playing with LA Galaxy, but he's a man who knows how to deal damage. And he's going to be a danger man in this game. And so is the rest of the team. Look, they're a solid side. One of Europe's sleeping giants, you could say. They've been off the kind of the pace for years now. You know, we've not seen AC Milan at their finest in a good while. I think over a decade now since they've really been a big threat in European football, but it's a club not to be messing with. You know, we can't underestimate them, and their form this season so far goes to prove that. I'm sure they'll be willing to go and play some very attacking football. Look, yes, Zlatan Ibrahimovic may be 39 years of age, but if Alfredo Morelos and Ryan Kane and all these Brandon Barker can create problems for Shane Duffy, Christopher Ayer, and whoever else we may play at the back on Thursday, believe it or not, Zlatan's going to do that too. And that's, I feel disrespectful for discarding the rest of the talent that AC Milan have there, but this is a guy who's been one of the best strikers to ever grace a game of football, for God's sake. He spoke about not having the fans there at Celtic Park. He spoke about how that's a pity, and also saying at the same time it's a pity we won't get to witness him live, which I do echo that. He's one player I would love to see live, but it's all about seeing Celtic, and it's all about us, you know, not bowing down to that pressure and not letting ourselves give in to these mind games, and being able to just take them to task. Ultimately, I'm not as confident of what I would have been if we got a positive result at the weekend, but there's no reason why we can't welcome back those European nights that we've seen last year. 2 goals at the weekend for Ibrahimovic against Inter Milan. He was the deciding factor in the game, and let's keep in mind, Inter Milan were a team who last season made the final of this tournament. They were finalists in the Europa League where they were beaten by Sevilla, and what was a brilliant game, one of the best cup finals I think I've ever watched, but oh man, it's just really, really frustrating knowing that we're going into this with both a psychological disadvantage in terms of fan support and I think on the pitch, and the AC Milan going into this game in some of the best league form they have probably seen in a good way, especially at the start of a league season. And also, let's not ignore the fact that AC Milan this year will be wanting to make strides in Europe. They will want to be trying to solidify themselves as one of the top teams in the competition again. They will want to get some glory back to them. And I'm sure this is a tournament they'd love to top the group in and go further as well. So we kind of find ourselves in a similar situation where we're trying to one-up what we've been doing in the past. AC Milan probably have a lot more to one-up than us. We've met expectations over the past 2 years, I would say, and AC Milan haven't. So they're going to be starting this hungry. And as much as we should be, and as much as I want us to be starting this hungry, there is that lingering question mark over whether or not we are hungry enough at the minute. On to the team and score predictions then for the game against AC Milan, and I'm going to say it right now, I want us to go back to the 4-2-3-1. I really do. I don't know if that's permanently how I want to see us go forward. I have a feeling we will be terrorised if we go for 3-5-2 against AC Milan, and it's so hard to tell because we've never really had this tested, this system tested on the European stage yet. For all we know, it could be the key to opening up a lot more for us, but judging off Saturday, I don't want to see it anytime soon. I'm just being brutally honest. There's no point in me sitting down in this chair and masking the sort of pessimism that I have going into this tactically, because I would be lying. I would simply be trying to sugarcoat things in a way that I shouldn't be. As a Celtic fan and someone who wants to see my team consistently do well, I think we have to do what's best to move forward, and I think that is switching to a 4-2-3-1 against AC. So there is a few players who I think can return back into the team now, and that's good to hear. We need Edouard back, as much as I don't think him being there on Saturday would have changed the output of the game. He's certainly a player who, once again, has shown in Europe how good he can be. He's always got a cool head. I think he's got a chance to prove to himself, both himself and the rest of Europe, that his stock still should remain as high as it has been. So I would love to see him come back into the team. Look, regarding injuries and such, we need to move on from that because, as I said at the start of the video, we are still good enough a team to take not only a competitive match towards Rangers, but to AC Milan too. So, team prediction, Barkas, will he remain in goals? There has been murmurs of allowing Scott Bain to step back into fold. Install some faith in the guy, for God's sake. The doubts from Celtic fans after the weekend are understandable. He should have done a lot better for that first goal, but we need to install some faith in him. His confidence is just going to keep going like that. I think he's done not an awful lot wrong apart from the Rangers game, and I feel like he's been treated slightly harsh. I'm going to remain with my faith in Vasilis Barkas right back. I'd like to see Frimpong start again left back. I think that it's a very interesting scenario, of course, that we've loaned out Diego Laxalt from AC Milan. He is available to play against AC Milan, so we should play him. I think that he was looking decent enough for his first appearance in a derby at the weekend. We've got to continue him his growth, so him at the left back. Duffy and I are at centre half. Yes, they might have not looked sharp at the weekend, but it's a chance for them to prove that they are better than that performance may show and as good as what we claim they are. So they two for me. Brown and McGregor for me go into the centre mid roles. I think Christie should come back in potentially to start at number 10. El Yunusi over on the left. Over on the right, that's where it's hard, isn't it? It is really hard. Now that I sit down and think about it, let me think of this. No James Forrest for 3 weeks, he's out. Does Christie go over on the right hand side? Could put Christie in the right, or do we just go 3-5-2? I have no confidence in what this team is doing. Christie on the right hand side, McGregor at the 10, and Cham in behind with Brown, El Yunusi on the left and Edouard up front. There we go. I don't even know where we stand in terms of who's fit and who's no. I've tried to stay away from reading anything to do with Celtic football on the weekend. I've been kind of sick of it, to be honest. That's my team prediction for the score. I'm going to just remain a pessimistic bugger and say 1-1. I think Zlatan will get himself a goal. I think that Edouard could get himself on the score sheet as well. We need these guys back firing on all cylinders, we really do, and this is the start of a crucial time for Celtic. I don't even think the team prediction matters. Whatever team starts against AC Milan Thursday night really need to step up to the plate and give us something to cheer about and something positive to talk about. And that doesn't just come with the result. I think a lot more of it's to do with the performance. If we win 1-0, getting absolutely dominated, yes, that's really good normally in a European result. That's what we live for. It's nicking these European games against sides like AC Milan. We love stuff like that. It's great. But after that Saturday, the kind of the torture and the kind of build up of social media outrage is just getting too much for somebody like myself. Starting to put a real pessimistic mind on me. So let's just get it done with a nice enough performance. And hopefully we can stop them. We seen Lazio flying domestically last year, and we ended that. So let's do it again. Let's do it one more time. Like and subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.